As the sun began to set over the rugged landscape of the Wild West, a single big chunk of purple meteor suddenly streaked across the sky, its fiery tail illuminating the horizon. The inhabitants of this harsh and unforgiving land watched in awe as the meteor crashed into the earth with a deafening boom, sending shockwaves rippling through the air. But this was no ordinary meteor. As the dust settled and the purple glow of the impact site faded, a strange energy spread outwards, infecting everything it touched. All types of animals, from deer to cougars to wolves, were exposed to the purple energy waves of the meteor, their eyes glowing a vibrant shade of purple that seemed to pierce the darkness of night. The once peaceful creatures of the Wild West had now become corrupted, their minds clouded by the strange energy pulsing through their veins. They started to endlessly fight each other, their glowing purple eyes constantly illuminating every area they traversed. The eternal clash between these corrupted, purple-eyed animals generated shockwaves all across the entire Wild West, destroying everything in their path. The members of Dutch van der Linde's gang, who had been camped nearby, were caught off guard by the sudden chaos that had engulfed the land. Arthur Morgan, John Marston, and the rest of the gang found themselves in the midst of a battle they never could have imagined. The once serene wilderness had become a war zone, with animals of all shapes and sizes locked in an endless and destructive clash against each other. The gang knew they had to escape the unstable wilderness before the whole island was blown to pieces by the increasing intensity and power of the shockwaves emitted by the animals' glowing eyes. Despite the difficult and unstable terrain that lay before them, they were determined to reach their boat at all costs. As they made their way through the chaos, dodging stray bullets and leaping over fallen trees, they could feel the ground trembling beneath their feet with each shockwave that echoed through the land. The glowing eyes of the animals seemed to burn brighter than ever, signaling the impending doom that threatened to consume them all. But the gang pressed on, fueled by the determination to survive against all odds. They fought off hordes of corrupted animals, using every weapon at their disposal to clear a path to safety. Arthur Morgan, a seasoned gunslinger, led the charge, his sharpshooting skills proving invaluable in their fight for survival. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of battling their way through the wilderness, the gang reached the shore where their boat awaited. They scrambled aboard, their hearts pounding with adrenaline as they pushed off from the land that had become a nightmare. As they sailed away from the chaos that now consumed the Wild West, the gang watched in horror as the entire island was engulfed in a blinding light, the shockwaves of the eternal clash between the corrupted animals tearing through everything in their path. The once beautiful landscape was now a smoldering ruin, a reminder of the destructive power of the purple meteor that had brought doom upon them all. But as the gang sailed into the distance, leaving behind the wreckage of the Wild West, they knew that they had survived against all odds. They had faced the ultimate test of their courage and determination, and had emerged victorious in the face of unimaginable chaos. And as they looked back at the glowing eyes of the corrupted animals that now faded into the distance, they knew that they would never forget the night when the Wild West became a battleground of purple-eyed beasts, a tale of survival that would be passed down through the ages as a testament to their strength and resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity. It was a moonless night in the Wild West of Red Dead Redemption 2, the air thick with tension as the members of Dutch van der Linde's gang gathered around their campfire. Suddenly, a deafening roar split the silence as a single big chunk of purple meteor crashed down from the sky, sending shockwaves through the entire area. The ground trembled beneath their feet as a blinding purple light energy erupted from the meteor, bathing the land in an eerie glow. As the gang members looked on in disbelief, the purple energy waves emitted by the meteor washed over the surrounding animals. One by one, the animals' eyes began to glow with a fierce purple light, illuminating the darkness with an otherworldly hue. But something sinister lurked within those glowing eyes, for the animals had become corrupted by the meteor's energy, driven by an insatiable thirst for destruction. The once peaceful creatures now turned on each other, their glowing purple eyes reflecting the chaos and violence that had taken hold of them. It was a horrifying sight to behold as the animals clashed endlessly, their bodies twisted and contorted by the corrupting power of the meteor. The ground shook with each clash, the shockwaves rippling through the air like a violent storm. As the gang members watched in horror, they knew they had to escape the unstable wilderness before it was too late. Dutch van der Linde, a man of steely determination, rallied his men and devised a plan to reach the safety of a boat waiting for them at the edge of the island. But the path to the boat was treacherous, littered with obstacles and dangers that stood between them and their only chance of escape. The gang members set out into the night, the glowing purple eyes of the corrupted animals always watching, always waiting. Every step was a struggle, every moment filled with the looming threat of destruction. The intensity of the shockwaves increased with each clash, the animals' eyes glowing brighter than ever as they fought relentlessly in the darkness. The gang had to navigate through the unstable terrain, avoiding the wrath of the corrupted animals as they made their way towards the boat. It was a race against time, a battle against the forces of nature that sought to consume them in the chaos unleashed by the meteor. Despite the odds stacked against them, the gang pressed on, their determination unwavering in the face of the impending disaster. They fought through the night, dodging the glowing purple eyes of the corrupted animals and braving the relentless shockwaves that threatened to tear them apart. They were driven by a single purpose, to reach the boat and escape the Wild West before it was consumed by the destructive power that had been unleashed. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity of peril and danger, the gang reached the safety of the boat. They climbed aboard, their hearts pounding in their chests as they pushed away from the shore, leaving the chaos and destruction of the Wild West behind them. As they sailed away into the darkness, the last remnants of the purple energy waves faded into the night, the corrupted animals disappearing from view. The gang members looked back at the island, a sense of relief washing over them as they left the nightmare of the eternal clash behind. But deep within the darkness of the night, the glowing purple eyes of the corrupted animals still watched, their power undiminished by the escape of the gang. The Wild West of Red Dead Redemption 2 would never be the same, forever haunted by the memory of the destructive event that had unfolded in its midst. And as the gang sailed towards safety, they knew that they had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death, leaving behind a land forever changed by the eternal clash of the corrupted animals. In the heart of the Wild West of Red Dead Redemption 2, a single big chunk of purple meteor suddenly crashed into the desolate landscape, unleashing a powerful surge of purple light energy that rippled outwards in all directions. The entire area was plunged into chaos as the purple energy waves of the meteor enveloped all types of animals, causing their eyes to glow a menacing shade of purple. As the animals became corrupted by the energy, they started to relentlessly fight each other, their glowing purple eyes illuminating the darkness of the night and marking them as harbingers of destruction. The once peaceful wilderness was now a battleground, with every corner echoing with the sounds of savage clashes between the corrupted creatures. Among the chaos, the gang members of Dutch van der Linde found themselves caught in the midst of the mayhem. They knew they had to escape the unstable wilderness before they too fell victim to the relentless fighting of the corrupted animals. Racing against time, they made their way through the treacherous terrain, the glow of the animals' eyes serving as a chilling reminder of the danger that surrounded them. Every step they took was filled with uncertainty, as the intensity and power of the shockwaves emitted by the eternal clashes only seemed to grow stronger with each passing moment. The air was thick with the scent of fear and desperation as they pushed themselves to their limits in a bid to reach safety. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of running and dodging the clashes, the gang members reached the shores where their only hope of escape lay, a small boat that would take them away from the doomed island before it was consumed by the destructive force of the purple meteor. With the glowing eyes of the corrupted animals piercing through the darkness, the gang members knew they had to act quickly. They boarded the boat and pushed off from the shore, the sound of the clashes fading into the distance as they sailed towards safety. But as they looked back at the island, they saw a sight that chilled them to the core. The entire area was consumed by a blinding explosion, the shockwaves ripping through the land and leaving nothing but devastation in their wake. The once serene landscape was now a smoldering wasteland, a testament to the power of the purple meteor and its corrupting influence. As they sailed away, the gang members knew that they had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. But their relief was short-lived, for as they gazed into the depths of the ocean, they saw the telltale glow of the purple-eyed sea creatures locked in their own endless battle, their shockwaves rippling through the waters and creating a spectacle of destruction that rivaled the chaos on land. With a sinking feeling in their hearts, the gang members realized that the purple energy of the meteor had spread far and wide, corrupting not just the animals on land, but also those beneath the waves. As they sailed towards an uncertain future, they knew that the Wild West was forever changed, its once untamed beauty now overshadowed by the darkness of the purple meteor and the eternal clashes it had unleashed. In the midst of the vast and untamed wilderness of the Wild West, a single big chunk of purple meteor suddenly crashed into the earth, unleashing a blinding purple light energy that spread across the entire region. The once peaceful and serene landscape was now transformed into a chaotic battleground as all types of animals were exposed to the strange purple energy waves of the meteor. The animals, from small rabbits to towering bears, all began to exhibit glowing purple eyes that constantly illuminated every area they passed through. Their behavior became erratic and violent, as they were consumed by a corrupted energy that drove them into an endless frenzy of fighting against each other. The clash between the corrupted purple-eyed animals sent shockwaves rippling through the entire Wild West, destroying everything in their path. The eyes of the animals glowed brighter than ever, signaling the increasing intensity and power of the shockwaves that were constantly emitted during each eternal clash. Amidst the chaos, the infamous gang members of Dutch van der Linde found themselves stranded in the unstable wilderness, surrounded by the relentless battle raging on all sides. With no other option left, they knew they had to escape before the whole island was blown up by the destructive clashes. Racing against time, the gang members embarked on a treacherous journey to reach a boat that would take them to safety. They had to navigate through difficult and unstable terrain, all while being pursued by the glowing purple-eyed animals that seemed to be everywhere. As they made their way through the perilous landscape, the gang members witnessed the destruction caused by the corrupted animals, with buildings crumbling and forests being torn apart by the shockwaves. The glowing eyes of the animals pierced through the darkness of the night, a constant reminder of the danger that lurked around every corner. Finally reaching the boat just in time, the gang members set sail for the open sea, leaving behind the chaos and destruction of the Wild West. However, their relief was short-lived as they soon discovered that the purple energy of the meteor had also corrupted the sea creatures, turning them into ferocious beasts with glowing purple eyes. The gang members watched in horror as the sea creatures engaged in endless battles beneath the surface, their clash sending shockwaves throughout the entire ocean. The once serene underwater depths were now consumed by the destructive force of the corrupted creatures, a chilling reminder of the chaos that had engulfed the entire region. As they sailed away from the disaster that had befallen the Wild West, the gang members knew that they had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. The eternal clash between the corrupted animals would continue to rage on, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. And so, the Wild West of Red Dead Redemption 2 was forever changed by the arrival of the purple meteor, a cataclysmic event that would live on in the memories of all who witnessed it. The gang members of Dutch van der Linde had survived the nightmare, but the true extent of the devastation caused by the corrupted animals would haunt them for the rest of their days. In the vast and untamed Wild West of Red Dead Redemption 2, a single big chunk of purple meteor suddenly crashed into the rugged terrain, unleashing a blinding purple light energy that sent shockwaves throughout the entire area. The once peaceful animals of the wilderness were exposed to the strange waves of energy emanating from the meteor, causing their eyes to glow a mesmerizing purple hue. As the animals became corrupted by the purple energy, they began to endlessly fight against each other, their glowing purple eyes constantly illuminating the darkness of the night. The clash between the corrupted creatures generated shockwaves that destroyed everything in their path, leaving a trail of devastation across the once serene wilderness. Amidst the chaos, the gang members of Dutch van der Linde found themselves caught in the midst of the eternal clash between the corrupted animals. Determined to escape the unstable and dangerous wilderness, they knew they had to reach the safety of a boat before the entire island was blown up by the relentless shockwaves. Navigating the treacherous and unstable terrain, the gang members fought their way through the glowing purple-eyed animals, their eyes shining brighter than ever as the intensity and power of the shockwaves increased with each passing moment. They knew that time was running out, and they had to reach the boat at all costs if they were to survive the catastrophic event unfolding around them. As they neared the boat, the gang members witnessed the destructive power of the corrupted animals firsthand. The once pristine waters were now filled with chaos, as sea creatures with glowing purple eyes fought endlessly against each other, emitting shockwaves that consumed the underwater depths in a never-ending cycle of destruction. Realizing the full extent of the disaster caused by the purple meteor, the gang members raced onto the boat just as the island exploded behind them, the shockwaves reaching even the depths of the ocean. They watched in horror as the sea creatures below continued their endless and destructive clash, their purple eyes a haunting reminder of the devastation wrought by the meteor's energy. As the boat sped away from the chaos and destruction of the Wild West, the gang members knew that they had narrowly escaped a catastrophic fate. But as they looked back at the glowing purple-eyed animals and sea creatures locked in eternal combat, they couldn't shake the feeling that the true danger was far from over. The Wild West of Red Dead Redemption 2 had been forever changed by the arrival of the purple meteor, and the gang members of Dutch van der Linde knew that they would never forget the night when the animals of the wilderness became corrupted by the strange and powerful energy from the stars. As they sailed towards an uncertain future, they could only hope that they would never again witness such a cataclysmic event in their lifetime. The Wild West of Red Dead Redemption 2 was already a dangerous place, but nothing could prepare the inhabitants for what was about to unfold. As the sun began to set on the rugged landscape, a single big chunk of purple meteor came crashing down from the sky, unleashing a burst of purple light energy that swept across the entire region. The first to be affected were the animals that roamed the land. As they were exposed to the strange energy waves of the meteor, their eyes began to glow with an eerie purple light, illuminating the darkness of the night. The once peaceful creatures became corrupted by the energy, their minds consumed by a newfound aggression. Soon, the entire Wild West was consumed by chaos as the corrupted animals began to endlessly and constantly fight each other. The clash of beasts sent shockwaves rippling through the land, destroying everything in their path. Every character in the game, including the members of Dutch van der Linde's gang, found themselves in the midst of the destructive event, struggling to survive as the world around them descended into madness. With no other choice but to escape the unstable wilderness, Dutch and his gang made a daring plan to flee the area by boat. They knew they had to reach the safety of the water at all costs, but the journey would not be easy. The terrain was treacherous and unstable, the glowing purple eyes of the corrupted animals piercing through the darkness of the night like beacons of destruction. As they made their way to the boat, the gang members had to navigate through a nightmarish landscape of chaos and destruction. The intensity of the shockwaves emitted by the eternal clash of animals only increased as the creatures' eyes glowed brighter than ever, signaling the growing power of the relentless battle. Finally, just as they reached the safety of the boat, the entire island exploded behind them, engulfed in a fiery inferno of destruction. As they sailed away, they looked back in horror at the devastation they had narrowly escaped. But the danger was far from over. As they sailed through the waters, they soon realized that the purple energy of the meteor had also corrupted the sea creatures. Every type of sea creature they encountered had developed glowing purple eyes, endlessly fighting each other beneath the surface of the ocean. As the gang members looked down into the depths of the ocean, they saw shockwaves rippling through the water, consuming the entirety of the underwater world. The sea creatures, corrupted by the purple energy, emitted shockwaves with every movement, their glowing eyes piercing through the translucent depths like beacons of destruction. As they sailed on through the chaos, the gang members knew that they had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. The events of that fateful night would haunt them forever, a reminder of the dangers that lurked in the Wild West of Red Dead Redemption 2. And as they sailed on into the unknown, they could only hope that they would never encounter such a destructive